How a bank treats you at every level of debt. At level 1, the bank calls you a valued customer. A few missed payments later, the same bank may freeze your card, report the account as delinquent, and move you into collections. Keep going, and the next letter might not come from the bank at all. It might come from a law firm. And at the final levels, money can be taken from your paycheck, your bank account, or the sale of property you thought you still controlled. But here is the strange part. The bank does not suddenly become angry with you. Your account simply moves through a series of increasingly serious systems. First, you are a customer. Then you become a late account, then a risk, then an accounting loss, then a debt to recover. And eventually the person deciding what happens next may not work for the bank at all. So this is how a bank treats you at every level of debt. For this example, we are following a fictional borrower named Alex. Alex lives in the United States, has a normal job, one credit card, a car loan, and no plan to stop paying anything. The exact rules depend on the state, lender, contract, and type of debt. But Alex's journey shows the typical escalation from ordinary borrowing to the most serious consequences. Level 1. The valued customer. At the beginning, Alex is exactly what the bank wants. He uses his credit card, receives a statement, and pays on time. Sometimes he pays the full balance. Sometimes he leaves a small amount and pays interest. From Alex's perspective, he owes the bank money. But from the bank's perspective, Alex is not a problem. He is a customer producing revenue. As long as he keeps making the required payments, the bank may offer him a larger credit limit, a new card, a personal loan, or another financial product. This is the first important contradiction. Being in debt does not automatically make you a bad customer. A borrower who reliably pays interest can be an extremely valuable customer. So at level 1, the bank is friendly. The app congratulates Alex. The emails call him a valued member. The credit limit rises. And borrowing becomes easier precisely because he has shown that he can handle debt. But easier access to debt also makes the next level possible. Level 2. The minimum payment customer. Alex's balance begins to grow. Nothing dramatic has happened yet. He still makes every payment by the deadline. But instead of clearing the card completely, he begins paying only the minimum amount required. The bank is still satisfied because Alex is following the agreement. His account is current. There are no collection calls. There is no lawsuit. There may not even be a warning beyond the information printed on his statement. But Alex notices something strange. He pays every month, yet the balance barely seems to move. Part of every payment covers interest. If he continues using the card while making only minimum payments, the balance may fall extremely slowly, or even continue rising. Alex feels like he is paying the debt. Technically, he is. But he is also staying inside the part of the system where the bank continues earning money from the balance. At this level, the bank does not need to chase him. It only needs him to keep paying enough to remain current. Then Alex's life changes. His work hours are reduced, a medical bill arrives, his car needs an expensive repair. The exact emergency does not matter. What matters is that Alex reaches the due date and does not have enough money. Level 3. The first missed payment. This is the moment the tone begins to change. The day before the payment was due, Alex was a customer in good standing. The day after, his account is delinquent. At first, the change may look surprisingly small. He receives a reminder. The banking app shows a missed payment. A late fee may be added depending on the account terms and applicable rules. Interest may continue. The bank may send an email, text message, letter, or automated call. But at this level, the bank may still be highly willing to work with Alex. And this is one of the most important moments in the entire process. Because the earlier Alex calls, the more options may still exist. The card issuer might offer a different payment date, a temporary reduced payment, a hardship program, a lower interest rate for a period, or another arrangement. None of those options is guaranteed, but the bank would usually prefer Alex to recover and continue paying rather than allow the account to collapse completely. So at level 3, the bank is not treating Alex like an enemy. It is treating him like a customer showing the first sign of financial trouble. The message is basically, you missed the payment. Can this be fixed? Alex assumes he will catch up next month. But next month arrives, and now he owes the missed payment, the new payment, and any additional charges that accumulated. He cannot cover all of it. Level 4. Repeated missed payments. Now the bank stops treating the situation like one isolated mistake. Alex's card may be restricted or completely blocked. His available credit disappears. The bank may report the delinquency to the credit reporting companies. And once that information enters his credit history, The consequences can spread beyond this single account. Another lender may reduce a credit limit. A future loan may become more expensive. A new application may be rejected. The bank's communication also changes. The friendly marketing emails become less relevant. The reminders become more frequent. The letters become more formal. The account may move from ordinary customer service into a department focused on delinquent accounts. Alex is still dealing with the original bank, but he is no longer being treated primarily as someone to sell more products to. He is now being treated as a risk that must be managed. The bank wants one of three outcomes. Alex catches up. Alex enters an agreed hardship or repayment arrangement, or the account moves deeper into collection. This is also where silence becomes dangerous. Alex is embarrassed, so he stops answering calls. He stops opening letters. He avoids checking the app because every time he looks, the balance is larger. But ignoring the account does not pause the system. It only means decisions may be made without Alex participating in them. Level 5. Internal collections. By now, the account has remained unpaid for months. The bank may assign it to an internal collection team. These employees are not calling to discuss rewards points or a new credit card. Their job is to recover as much of the overdue balance as possible. Alex may be offered a payment plan. He may be asked for a large catch-up payment. He may be offered a settlement for less than the full balance. Or he may be told that the account will be sent somewhere else if nothing changes. This stage can feel personal because the calls and letters are directed at Alex, but inside the institution, the process is largely procedural. The account has crossed certain thresholds. Its status has changed. Its probability of repayment has fallen. And each time that happens, the account moves into a different category. Then Alex reaches one of the most misunderstood levels in debt. Level 6. Charge-off. After several months without the required credit card payments, the bank may charge off the account. The phrase sounds like the debt has been erased. It has not. A charge-off is mainly an accounting action. The bank records the balance as a loss because it no longer expects the account to perform like a normal loan. But Alex can still owe the money. This is the twist. The bank can declare the account a loss while still attempting to collect the debt. It may continue collecting through its own department. It may hire a third-party collection company. Or it may sell the account to a debt buyer for a fraction of the amount Alex owes. Imagine Alex owes $10,000. A debt buyer might purchase the right to collect that account for much less than $10,000. That does not automatically reduce Alex's legal balance to the amount the buyer paid. The buyer purchased the account because it believes it can recover more than the purchase price. So Alex's debt has now become someone else's business opportunity. The bank may leave the story, but the debt does not. Level 7. The debt collector. Alex receives a call from a company he has never heard of. The person knows his name. They know the original bank, they claim to know the balance, and they want payment. This is the point where Alex must separate a real collection attempt from a mistake or scam. A legitimate debt collector generally has to provide validation information explaining the debt, including information about the creditor and the amount claimed. Alex typically has a limited period to dispute the debt in writing and request verification. If he disputes it properly within that period, collection activity generally must pause until the collector provides verification. That matters because collection accounts can contain errors. The wrong person may be contacted, the balance may be inaccurate, a payment may not have been recorded, the account may have passed between several companies, each receiving imperfect information. So Alex should not blindly pay anyone who calls, but he also should not automatically assume every collection notice can be ignored. At this level, the collector may offer Alex a payment plan or settlement, but Alex needs any agreement clearly documented. He needs to know whether the payment settles the full debt or only part of it, and he needs to understand who legally owns the account. Because if no agreement is reached, the next escalation is not another phone call, it is a lawsuit. Level 8. The court papers. One day, Alex receives legal documents. A creditor or debt collector has filed a case demanding payment. This is where the debt leaves the private collection system and enters the court system. And ignoring these papers can create one of the worst outcomes. Alex may believe the amount is wrong. He may believe the debt is too old. He may believe the collector does not have the documents needed to prove ownership. He may even believe the debt is not his. But if he is properly served and fails to respond by the deadline, the court may enter a default judgment against him. A default judgment does not necessarily mean the court carefully investigated every argument and decided the collector was correct. It can mean Alex simply failed to appear and defend himself. That turns inaction into a legal victory for the other side. Responding does not guarantee that Alex wins, but failing to respond may remove some of his best opportunities to challenge the claim, dispute the amount, raise a legal defense, or negotiate before judgment. At level 8, the bank's relationship with Alex is almost irrelevant. The question is no longer, will Alex voluntarily pay? The question becomes, can the creditor prove the claim in court? If the creditor wins, Alex enters the next level. Level 9, the judgment. A judgment is not simply another collection letter. It is a court order confirming that the creditor or collector can legally recover an amount from Alex. That order may unlock stronger collection tools. Depending on state law and the type of debt, the creditor may attempt to garnish part of Alex's wages. It may seek money from a bank account. It may place a lien against certain property. Interest and permitted legal costs may continue increasing the amount. For ordinary consumer debts, a creditor generally needs to sue and obtain a judgment before using tools such as wage garnishment. Federal law limits how much of certain earnings can be garnished, and some states provide stronger protections. But even a limited garnishment can damage Alex's budget. Remember why he missed the original payment. He already did not have enough money. Now part of his income may be redirected before he can use it for rent, food, transportation, or other bills. The debt problem can begin creating new debt problems. Alex may use another card to cover basic expenses. He may fall behind on a different loan. One unpaid account can trigger a chain reaction across his financial life. But everything we have described so far mainly follows unsecured debt. Credit cards and many personal loans do not give the lender a direct claim to one specific item Alex purchased. Secured debt follows a different branch. Level 10, the collateral. Suppose Alex stops paying his car loan. The lender does not only have a promise that Alex will repay, it also has a security interest in the vehicle. That means the car itself supports the debt. Depending on the contract and state law, the lender may repossess it after default. Alex wakes up one morning and the car is gone. But losing the car may not end the debt. The lender can sell the vehicle and apply the sale proceeds to the outstanding loan and permitted costs. If Alex owes $15,000 and the car is sold for $11,000, he may still owe the difference, along with applicable fees. That remaining amount is called a deficiency balance. So Alex can lose the car and still receive collection letters for a car he no longer has. A mortgage follows the same broad principle on a much larger scale. The home secures the loan. If the borrower remains in default and no alternative is reached, the lender may begin foreclosure under the procedures that apply to the loan and location. That does not happen because the bank suddenly decides it wants Alex's home. The lender wants the loan to perform, but the contract gives it rights against the collateral when the payments stop. This is why secured debt becomes dangerous faster. With a credit card, the lender usually has to pursue money. With secured debt, the lender may also pursue the property attached to the loan. At this point, Alex feels trapped, but even near the final levels, the story does not always end with permanent financial destruction. There are still possible exits. Level 11, settlement or restructuring. Alex may negotiate directly with a creditor or collector. He may enter a payment plan. He may qualify for a hardship arrangement. He may work with a reputable non-profit credit counselor on a debt management plan. He may settle some accounts for less than the full balance, but every option has consequences. A settlement may affect his credit. Forgiven debt can sometimes create tax issues. A payment plan only works if Alex can realistically afford it. And debt relief companies promising to erase everything can create an entirely new problem. Some companies charge large fees, tell borrowers to stop paying creditors, and then fail to reach agreements with everyone. While Alex waits, late charges, interest, lawsuits, and collection activity may continue. A real solution needs to address the actual numbers, not simply promise that the debt will disappear. And if Alex's income and assets make repayment impossible, he may reach the final formal level. Level 12, bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is not one button that deletes every debt. It is a federal legal process with different chapters, eligibility rules, exemptions, and consequences. In a typical Chapter 7 case, a trustee may gather and sell non-exempt assets, then distribute the proceeds according to bankruptcy law. Many qualifying unsecured debts may eventually be discharged. But secured creditors can retain rights against collateral, and some types of debt may not be discharged. Chapter 13 works differently. It is generally designed for individuals with regular income who propose a court-approved repayment plan lasting around 3 to 5 years. The borrower may be able to keep certain property while making payments under the plan. Bankruptcy can also trigger an automatic stay that generally pauses many collection actions after the case is filed. But filing is a serious legal decision. It affects credit. It requires financial disclosure. It does not solve every debt. And choosing the wrong approach without proper advice can create long-term consequences. Still, for someone whose debts are impossible to repay, bankruptcy exists because the system recognizes that endless collection is not always realistic. And that is how a bank treats you at every level of debt. And that's how one small clause can change everything. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to One Small Clause for more videos about contracts, ownership, lawsuits, and the hidden rules that shape real lives. And if you want another story right now, tap one of the videos on screen.